Welcome back to the Systems Thinker Show. This is Season 5, Episode 36, and I am so glad you're here. A special thank you to our listeners in 32 countries around the world. It's amazing to see this community grow. Now, we're on a mission to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And right now, less than 43% of you who listen are actually subscribed. So could you do us a huge favor? Hit that subscribe or follow button. It really helps us with the streaming algorithms so we can keep bringing you these best-in-class insights on business culture. Today, we're tackling something I think we've all felt, being stuck in analysis paralysis. You know, where great ideas just go to die in a storm of endless meetings. Well, we're going to dive into the antidote, decisive, bold action, and how understanding principles from things like the 48 laws of power can be the key to totally transforming your team's culture. And yeah, it's bottom line. So let's start with this powerful idea from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Law 28, interaction with boldness, is our focus. And what Greene is saying here is that confidence isn't just, a feeling, it's a force multiplier. It literally creates its own momentum, a reality that just pulls people in. So let's explore how this one idea can reshape an entire organization.
All right, here's our game plan. It's pretty simple. We're going to start with Greene's core principle. Then we'll see it in action with a really fantastic case study. From there, we'll check out some industry-wide trends, compare a few different expert takes on boldness, and then wrap it all up with a practical playbook you can actually use.
Okay, first things first, let's really break down this central idea. What does it truly mean to enter action with boldness? Look, this isn't about being reckless, not at all. It's about cutting through all the noise and hesitation. When you act decisively, it signals confidence. And that confidence, it inspires trust, it builds momentum, and it turns some vague, fuzzy vision into something real, something tangible that people can finally get behind and believe in. Theory is great, right? But let's see how this actually plays out in a real company. We're going to take a look at a company called Atherworks Precision, and believe me, they were practically drowning in caution. Now, what's so wild about this slide is just how stark the contrast is. It's like night and day. On the left, you've got this culture of hesitation. 7 committees, can you imagine? Engagement is in the tank, and their engineering cycle is painfully slow. But then, on the right, after a bold intervention, it's a total reversal, a bias for action, streamlined decisions, and metrics that are just dramatically better. And the results of that turnaround were just staggering. First, just look at the cultural win here. A jump from 56 to 71% in employee engagement in a year. This wasn't just about changing a process. It was about injecting energy and a sense of purpose back into the work. People said they felt part of a team that moves. It just proves that the opposite of analysis paralysis isn't just action, it's belief. And then there's the operational impact. That newfound belief, it translated directly into speed. Slashing 5 months off the engineering cycle, that's not just a nice efficiency gain. That is a massive competitive advantage. It's the kind of speed that lets you run circles around the competition. And finally, that speed hit the bottom line. Hard. On-time delivery shot up to 96%, and that won Atherworks new contracts because their clients suddenly saw them as a decisive partner. Their boldness didn't just change their internal culture, it became their brand. So how on earth did the new COO, Jada Ikeda, pull this off? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. She didn't just show up and give a motivational speech, she changed the system. She created a go-fast council to just kill the bureaucracy. She made this huge public bet to create focus and urgency. And, so critically, she rewarded the right kind of risk-taking while putting in guardrails to prevent recklessness. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second because the Atherworks story, it's not some isolated fluke. This principle of bold, decisive action is a key differentiator across almost every single sector. You see this pattern holding true everywhere. In manufacturing, it's about making bold bets on tech. In finance, it's about strategic acquisitions. In logistics, the World Bank found that decisive digitalization can slash port delays by a whopping 70%. Even in government, the principle is exactly the same. Bold, clear action is what drives results. And here's the financial proof, the money shot, really. Data from both McKinsey and Bain shows that companies that make consistent, bold, strategic moves, what this chart calls programmatic movers, deliver way higher total shareholder returns than their more cautious wait-and-see peers. Bottom line, boldness pays. But is Greene's top-down, momentum-driven approach the only way to do it?
Let's bring in a few other leading thinkers on organizational change to add a little bit of nuance to this conversation.
And this is a really key question, right? Is a big, top-down, charismatic push the only way to get this done? Or are there other, maybe more sustainable, paths to being bold? So let's compare Green with Petersenge, who is basically the father of the learning organization. While Green really focuses on the power of an individual's confident action, Senge argues that true, sustainable boldness comes from collective learning and a shared vision. So for Green, power flows from momentum. For Senge, it flows from learning. Two very different takes. This chart does a great job of laying out these different philosophies, and it reveals this core tension. Green is all in on emotional influence. But you see others, like Senge, Cotter, and Lanier Johnson, they place a much higher emphasis on the infrastructure, the systems, the routines, the cadence that turn a bold idea into a daily reality. I love Johnson's philosophy, purpose hour by hour. It's all about making boldness operational. So, what does this all mean for you? Let's take all these different approaches and mash them together into a clear, actionable playbook. So what's the common thread through all of this? Well, it's that successful, bold action isn't a solo act. It's a system. It absolutely requires clear decision rights to create speed, visible wins to build belief, and, this is so critical, channels for open dissent to make sure you're being bold, not just reckless. And this brings us to maybe the most important part of the whole thing: guardrails. Being bold does not mean being brash. Every single expert has a built-in safety mechanism. Green advises having a reversal plan. Senge uses time-boxed experiments. Johnson builds purpose checks into daily work. Look, boldness without guardrails is just gambling. So let's bring it all home. To make boldness how you work, you have to make a visible bet that focuses everyone's energy. You've got to simplify decisions to build speed, and you absolutely have to celebrate the small, reversible moves that teach your team how to take smart risks. Because when boldness is built into your daily systems, it stops being a one-time campaign, and it starts being your culture. The only question left is, what's the first bold move you're going to make? For additional information on this topic, please feel free to reach out via our website at www.karaswininnovations.com. And while you're at it, check out our other podcast, The Continuous Improvement Lab. Finally, a huge thank you to our executive producer and founder, Lanier Johnson. We'll see you next time.